Hello, Augies Worldwide. I'm Dave Kassler, amateur radio call sign KE0OG, here with another episode of Ask Dave. What we're going to do today is look at some stuff that Times Mircowave sent me. Now, Times Mircowave cable is considered among the very best that's made anywhere in the world, and Times Mircowave cable is used extensively in commercial and in military applications. It's also used in ham radio. It's certainly not the least expensive cable by any means. It's usually Belden or something like that, RG8X or RG213. But Times Mircowave is the maker of the LMR series of cables. And no, I don't know what that stands for. LMR. The two that are popular in ham radio are LMR 240, which is approximately, shall we say, the equivalent of RG8X, and the LMR 400, which is a much thicker cable, 0.405 inches across, that is in the same category as RG8 or RG213, except it's better. All of the cables from Times Mircowave, and this is LMR 400, they have, I don't know if this is focusing, they have a center conductor that is aluminum that's coated in copper, and that doesn't matter about the aluminum because it's the copper that does the conducting. It's on the surface. Then it has a shield, an aluminum shield. Aluminum, I don't think this is aluminum, maybe aluminum shield in here that is actually taped onto the cable. And then on top of that, there is standard braid. Okay, so this is a very effective, highly shielded, 100% shielded coax. It's also extremely sturdy. So, and it has a 4-inch bend radius, which is about like that. Okay, with the center being right about there, about a 4-inch bend radius. So you don't want to crank it over hard on itself. Now, what Times Mircowave sent to me is 2 tool kits that are used to put coax connectors on the ends of the coax. And they sent me some coax and some connectors. They sent me not only, well, they sent me a sample cable, LMR 400, LMR 240, and LMR, I think it's 195. Okay. Then they sent me connectors for each, both in the PL259 variety, meaning UHF connectors, and they also sent me end connectors for each, which I thought was highly unusual since I don't do end connectors for anything in my shack. Now, I point out that my spectrum analyzer has end connectors, but I've got some adapters on those to take them to BNC. So what I'm going to do is we're going to look at these tool sets. I've got 2 of them here. One is the tool set for the LMR 400, and the other is the tool set for the LMR 240 and the 195. Okay, this will do both. This will do the 200. Now, I want you to look at this picture here. Times Mircowave, it's on DX Engineering. Times Mircowave sells through dealers. This is the kit for the 240 and the 195 right here. Okay, $560.99. So, like I said, these guys hit the commercial market, and amateurs are absolutely welcome and encouraged to buy their products. So, we're going to put a cable on some 195 cable. So I will show you first what is in each of these toolboxes. This is the toolbox for both the 195 and the 240 cable. Okay. Comes with instructions. There are also some little Allen wrenches here for adjusting these things as they wear. This is the crimp tool, and it is a big hairy crimp tool. This right here is a coax cutter. Okay, and this is the one, the tool. You stick it in one end first and then into the other end. And this is for the 240. And this one here is for the 195. Okay, and these tools are kind of interesting little contraptions. Okay, now I want to show you what's in the other one. This one right here is not available on their website yet, so, and nor is it available at DX Engineering. Okay, so this may still be coming out or pre-product. Let's see. We have the crimp tool with the bigger holes in it here, the coax cutter tool. This is for LMR 400 as we know it in ham radio. It is LMR 400 that's 50 ohm. Now, this one, interestingly, is for LMR 400 that is 75 ohm. Okay, we won't use this for ham radio. I guess somebody could if they wanted to. If they ended up bequeathed a large quantity of LMR 400 75 ohm cable, they would want to. Now, the reason that we would do that, there may be the same outside dimensions for the cable, but the inside dimensions are going to be slightly different in order to give it 75 ohms, because the characteristic impedance of a cable is determined by the dimensions of the cable. Now, I'm just going to set this one aside, and we'll look at this connector. This connector right here is for LMR style X connector, and it is for EZ200. It's for the 240 cable. Okay, so here is the cable. I've kind of stretched this out. Now we want to get a nice sharp edge on this thing, so we pick up the cable cutter and we take the cable cover and clamp it on here and go like this until it pops off. And then we have a very clean connection there. So then we take the LMR 240 cable. We got to make sure that this thing is popped out. Okay, we put this in here as far as it goes. And we hold down on this while we turn. Takes a little while. Plus I haven't used this one before. Okay, and we get the first cut. And we want to get the little plug out of there. I'll make sure we got that a little later. Now we're going to put it in the other end. Okay, and this was up here on the straight versus the right angle. This thing moves for different kinds of cable. We want it on the straight. So we're going to put this thing in here and turn it. And what it's going to do, you can see right there, it's unraveling the cable. And we do this until it stops doing that anymore. Okay? Now, they want us to kind of deburr that. I'm not sure I remember. No, that's not how to do it. Okay. If we put this in this hole, kind of turn it just a little bit, it will deburr that. Now, we first of all, on our thing here, want to slip on here the heat shrink, and then the little round piece that will be crimped on it. There. Now we're going to spread, on this one, we spread the wire kind of out on this thing like this. Spread it out. And my fingers are very bad. And we push this on here until it actually goes in. This is why it has to be straight, because what I'm doing now, this pushes the center pin into the connector. There, I heard a click. Okay, then we push the little crimp thingy up here. Okay, it looks like we might want to go just a little bit more in. Okay. Put the crimp over this. Okay, that looks better. And then we pick up this monster tool right here. And we set this in here, and we want to get this in here as close to the end of the crimp. See the crimp? We want it up close to the contact, and then we're going to sit here and go like this until the two edges come together. It takes a really hefty squeeze of that, and there's our connector, just like that. Okay, now we could put another connector on the other end, but I think what I'd like to do is show you the LMR 400. Now, the 195 is designed for short runs, like connecting different pieces or receive cables or something like that. There's one more thing we need to do. Okay, let's see if we can get this up. It may only go to there. Okay. We want to use the heat shrink tubing. So we're going to turn this on. And we're going to turn the rework on. 576 is way too warm, but it'll certainly shrink the tubing. Heat shrink tubing is magic. Okay, I think we've got it. And that will stay on long enough to cool down. You can see the temperature is going down quite rapidly. This is the new soldering station. I think I put the video up about this yesterday. And when it gets down to 212 Fahrenheit, it will shut itself off. But that doesn't mean it's not hot. It's still hot, hot enough to boil water. Okay, so here we are. We've got this really nice connector here. Now, I will show you something that's a little different about the Times Mircowave cables. Note that if I try to unscrew this so that it'll come down and go off the bottom, it doesn't. You have to put this on the cable and screw the cable on like this. And this does not go back like a regular Coax connector does. Okay, so that's an absolutely beautiful connection. that we made there. And let's now do one for LMR 400. Okay, this is the LMR 400 right here. This is 10 feet that they sent me. And I've tried to get this tape off. It's not quite masking tape. It's pretty hefty tape. Okay. So now we want to peel this off of here. And it doesn't want to peel. There we go. We got it off. Okay, this is LMR 400. Now, LMR 400 is kind of like the Cadillac cable in ham radio. It's very low loss. Has lots of wonderful attributes. Now, some people who are really into this, they do have an LMR 500, 600, and so on, up to about 1200. It gets to be very big cables. But this for ham radio for 1,000 or 1,500 watts is about what we want. Now let's go ahead and put the other box over here. Always put your tools away when you're done. Don't lose these. I want this to stay up here. And here is the other one. Now in ham radio, the two LMR cables that we use the most are 240 and 400, and it's a shame they can't combine those into one toolkit. You could save on the money. This is identical here. This is the one for 75 ohms. And it says 75 ohms right on it. It's also got a black marker on it, and if you look on the instructions in here, it'll tell you the one with the black marker is for LMR 400, but for 75 ohm cable. So we're going to use this one right here. Now this is a little different in the way it works. Okay, first of all, I'm going to take the end off of this thing. What's the right length to take off? There was some gummy tape there, so I thought I'd take that off. We just turn this like this. And it pops. And you've got a beautiful, beautiful cut right there. That's very nice. Okay, now we're going to take this. And the first end that we cut is this one. And we again... we got to get this thing up. Okay. That's to remember. If you push this down, the cable won't go in all the way. You have to hit that little button so that this comes up. So we put this in, and we kind of turn it, kind of keeping your hand on this thing. Every time I'm pressing on it. It's not quite ready to come off yet. This is a kind of crimping that you actually could do at the top of a tower if you needed to. Okay. Now notice this is a little different. Okay. Now we're going to, and there's the piece right there. Okay. And so now we take the other end here, and we don't have to press on anything. We just need to turn it. That's as far as it goes right there. And here's the piece that it peeled off. Okay, I'm not sure that looks right. Where's the rest of my LMR 400s? Easy 400. Okay. Here's the connector. We're going to use some scissors just to take off the bag. Whoops. Okay. And this right here, I did this wrong. We didn't do this thing all the way. There we go. That's more like it. Okay, there's the end. And we're going to, again, peel back the braid just a bit. Okay, first we're going to put the ferrule over this thing. We're going to put the heat shrink tubing over this thing. Okay, we're going to slightly pull up the braid, because the braid's going to go on the outside of the connector, like this. Okay, and so this goes on here and goes over the silver, like that. And now we've got to get that inner plug all the way in so that it's in here. What happens is there's little things like this. As you push the cable in, they kind of close on it, like that. So it's a very nice connection. Now we find our ferrule. Still not sure how to pronounce ferrule. Ferrule. There we go. We put this up to here. Make sure that just is, I don't know why. And then we're going to get this thing out. We're going to use the big hole. And we're going to attempt to get this thing into the big hole. We actually have to go this way. Okay, get it up as close there as we can. All the way up to there. And then squeeze the daylights out of the thing. There. Okay, we put this up to here, right there, okay? And we're going to do the same thing we just did. We're going to turn that on. There's our heat gun here. By the way, it's interesting. This is my brand new solder station, and I haven't yet used it to solder anything. So the very first use of it is to do heat shrink tubing. I think we've about got it. As much as it's going to go. And that will cool off by itself. And there we have it, a very nice connector. And again, it's got the same thing here where it doesn't unscrew. As you unscrew it, it actually pulls the pin out or pulls it in, depending on which way you screw it. Got a nice connection here, which helps with waterproofing. These are not waterproof connectors. The tight band can be with the heat shrink tubing on them. Okay, so there you have it. We've taken a look at two toolkits from Times Mircowave, sort of the Cadillac name. There's an equivalent Cadillac type thing in Italy called Mesopaolini, which is brought into this country by MFJ, but they've got nice cable too. I have a piece of their cable from my Step IR Big IR coming up to the lightning arrestor here. It also has its own specialized connectors. But in the US, the top of the line is Times Mircowave. So if you're looking to put a station together and you're pretty sure it's going to stay there for a long time, then go ahead and use the Times Mircowave Coax. And when you use it, it works a lot better if you use the Times Mircowave connectors and the Times Mircowave tools. Now, is that going to make it an expensive proposition? Well, yes, but maybe your club can buy a set of tools that everybody in the club can use, okay? And that will bring down the expense for an individual person. I tried once using a standard run-of-the-mill Hamfest style connector on LMR 400, and it was an almost hopeless experience. And that was when Times Mircowave contacted me the first time and said, would you like the right stuff to do this? And so now they've contacted me again. These tool kits that you see here are new, and this is a new addition to the Times Mircowave. I've also got this small cable here, the 195, that I will do a video on, maybe when I'm doing some connections on the receive side of the station over here, where I've got the SDR Play RSP1A receiver. Now, if you would like to help support this channel financially, you certainly can do so by going to dcasler.com/support. And also, please remember, if you are not a subscriber, please subscribe. All it takes is one mouse click, and then you're telling YouTube that you think this is a good channel, and they'll promote it more. And right now, I've got about 120,000 subscribers, and so things are going good. So I would like to say thank you to all of you for being faithful and loyal Augies, and Augie is a subscriber to this channel. And until we next meet, 73.